YouTube, how's it going? Welcome back to another Top 100 review. Last night, NFL Network went 30 through 21 in the NFL Top 100, so we're going to recap it. But before we get into it, we do have a subscriber goal of 10,000. So please help us get there. If you already subscribed to the channel, we appreciate it very much. But let's get on to it. Number 30, LaShawn McCoy. I'm pretty good with this. I'm okay with this. Very good season last year. I think he was top 5 in rushing yards. Once again, so can he continue to do it? Was 27 last year, went to 30, down to 33 spots this year. There was no reason for him to drop, but I think it's just other players, so I'm okay with this 30 spot for him. At 29 was Matt Ryan, 10 last year, down to 29. 10 was his MVP season, so that's pretty interesting. So drops 19 spots because he wasn't the MVP, I guess, but maybe 10 was a little low for being the MVP, for being the best player in football for that year. 29, I'm okay with 29 for him, but maybe there's a quarterback or two that'll be ahead of him that I'm not okay with. So 29 is okay for him again, but we'll come back to it. 28, Chandler Jones was 85 last year, led the NFL in sacks, so that is the reason for the big jump. He's kind of a hybrid too. Can play an outside linebacker or a DN spot, which is very impressive. I thought he was kind of underrated. People forget that he led the league in sacks, but being 28, I'm glad he got that 28 because the players are at least are recognizing his talents. So I totally agree with this. If he has another good year like this, we can see another jump, possibly top 10. So we will see. Need to see more though, but it was a great season. I mean, he's had a good career so far, but 28 is good for now. 27, another Cardinal, Larry Fitzgerald, from 45 to 27. Was the last 2 years that much of a difference to go up? I know, great seasons. I'm good with it from what he's done. Is it going to be worthy of 27 at the end of this year? That'll be pretty amazing. He's not a guy that I would doubt at all. But can he be this high next year? People are saying could be his last year, could retire soon. It doesn't look like he should anytime soon, but that really isn't the factor that goes into it most of the times. But yeah, the question is, will he be playing at this high of a level this year too? Again, I wouldn't doubt him. 26 was Cameron Jordan, the pass rusher from the Saints. Excellent year. Wasn't even ranked last year, and now 26. I think not being ranked last year was pretty much a joke. But you kind of expected him maybe somewhere in the 70, 80 range, and then this past year wasn't just a ridiculous season, obviously, so he definitely deserves 26. It's just kind of crazy seeing him make the jump from not ranked to 26. So definitely one of the best, maybe the best 4-3 defensive end in football. We'll eventually get to those position rankings, so we'll see if he makes number 1 on our list for 4-3 DNs. 25, Cam Newton, 44 last year, 25 this year. So what did he do to go from 44 to 25? I mean, he's a heck of a quarterback. And he can be even higher ranked than 25. Obviously, his MVP season. I mean, obviously the best player in football that year showed that he can be one of the best players in football. But I don't think he did anything or did enough to go from 44 to 25. 25 is pretty high for me, even though I'm a big believer in Cam Newton. I think he can be a top player. I think he can win MVP again. They're starting to give him some more weapons. But Matt Ryan being behind him. I was good with Matt Ryan at where he was, but I'm not good with him being behind Cam Newton. So it's very interesting. Players are voting. So I guess when you're playing against Cam Newton, it stands out way more that his ability to run, can take over, can win games. So I guess that stands out if you're playing against him, and I can see that if I'm playing defense. So that it's understandable, but still, I'm not really okay with Matt Ryan being behind him at this point. Cam Newton was the MVP, then the year later Matt Ryan was the MVP, so very interesting. Very interesting. More of a jump for Cam Newton after last year. It's interesting to say the least. So did he do enough to go from 44 to 25? I really wouldn't really have a huge problem with 25. Just the fact that he's ahead of Matt Ryan really is the problem in the jump from 44 to 25. So let me know your guys' thoughts on that. We did do quarterback position rankings so that I kind of clear up my thoughts if you haven't seen that, so go check that out. 24 was Travis Kelce, 26 to 24, basically the same thing. I'm good with that. You've seen him get knocked out of the game against Tennessee in the playoffs. They needed him desperately, basically, is what I'm trying to. My point is here. So yeah, definitely one of the best tight ends in football. I'd say probably the obvious choice would be second best after Gronk. We will see when our tight end rankings come along where he would be. But obviously a dominant weapon in that offense, and we expect him to continue to be more of a weapon with Mahomes there. So I'm good with 24. 26, I think it's basically the same thing. He moved up 2 spots, so I'm good with it. 23, Patrick Peterson, 19 to 23. I think he could have dropped a little more. I know he has it in him to be this good, but maybe I'm more comfortable with him 30s, 40s maybe. And then the thing I don't like is there was corners. I feel like I keep saying this when corners come up. I think in 1 day's show, we had Casey Hayward and Xavier Rhodes, and we had plenty of corners after them ranked better. I think those 2 guys should be ranked ahead of pretty much every corner they've showed so far. So I do like Patrick Peterson, very dominant player. I'm more comfortable with him in the 30s, but my main point is looking off the past 2 years mainly. I put Hayward and Rhodes ahead of Patrick Peterson, just like the corners that were also ahead of those 2 guys. But we know Patrick Peterson has it in him. Definitely a dominant corner. Has the ability to be, maybe after this next year, can be the number 1 corner again. We will see. So, on to 22. A.J. Green, 17 last year, 22 this year. So a little bit of a drop. I don't know if that's really has to do with him. Maybe the other players, the young players moving up. Or maybe it does. Maybe it's because not as much action, but that's more of the quarterback play, the Bengals offensive play. Not really his fault. Still a dominant receiver. I'm good with this rank, 17, 22, basically the same thing. I'm not really going to overreact because of a little drop here, but I'm good with 22 for A.J. Green. Definitely a dominant receiver. If you haven't seen the receiver rankings I just posted, go check those out. You can see where A.J. Green, where I have him ranked. 21. Bobby Wagner, 39 to 21. Like the jump, but here's my thoughts. It's not enough of a jump. This guy was so dominant last year. He could have been the defensive player, the defensive MVP. He could have been. I think Aaron Donald definitely deserved it. I'm not going to say he shouldn't have got it, but I think there's a couple other players that if they would have got it too, I wouldn't have disagreed. So I think Bobby Wagner was one of them. So I think 21. Well, if you're basing off last year, that's where we always have these discussions. Is it based off last year? Is it based off going forward? If it's based off last year, he should be higher than 21. But at the same time, he's still young enough, still getting better, still a dominant player for this year, unless there's some kind of freak injury, that he still should be higher than 21. So I'm a big Bobby Wagner fan. I think, 21's obviously, it's a good rank, but I expect a little more of a jump from 39 to 21, especially because I've heard players and coaches talk about him enough where I know coaches don't vote here, but that I kind of expected more of a jump. So, but again, 21 is a great rank, but I am a big Bobby Wagner fan. Like his game a lot. Not a Seahawks fan at all, but love Bobby Wagner's game. So we'll see where he comes in my rankings once we get to the linebackers. After all the position rankings, we'll eventually go with different type of categories, over top 10 overrated players, top 10 underrated, and we'll go top 10 best players maybe. Maybe we got all kinds of stuff coming. So stick with us. Stick with us here at Frogs Angels. Our goal is 10K subscribers. We appreciate everyone has subscribed to the channel already. But that'll do it for this one. Goodbye.